At number 24, last year's college football national championship game runner-up, the TCU Horned Frogs. A little lower than most teams. Most people will have TCU going to this upcoming season, partly because I think last year's team had a little magic. I'm not sure I need to necessarily describe that to anyone that's watching this program. They know that team last year found lightning in a bottle on more than one occasion. They bring back Chandler Morris. He was the starting quarterback going into the season last year. I think he's got a chance to be really good within the system. Quarterback position is not a concern. I do have some concerns about Chandler Morris's ability to stay healthy. He's got to be able to stay upright. He's got to stay on the field. They do have to replace some top running backs and top receivers, plus a couple offensive linemen. This is a pretty significant adjustment for TCU given what they lost last year. Now, they have Trey Sanders coming in. He's a transfer from Alabama. They have JoJo Earle, another transfer from Alabama. He'll be at wide receiver. Trey Sanders will be at running back. They also have a couple of decent guys at back as well. Emily Bailey, Trent Battle. They're pretty decent at running back. I think they'll be just fine at that position. Will they be able to replace what they had last year? Probably not, but I do think in a committee type of approach, they have a chance to be pretty salty. Quentin Johnson will be almost impossible to replace. I don't care what anyone says. The guy was just a mismatch with his length and was really difficult to cover, not just in the red zone, but you saw in the playoff game against Michigan, the guy could take it the distance as well. He's going to be very difficult to contain. Now, they do have some solid length coming back at wide receiver with Savion Williams. Had 29 catches a year ago, might be a pretty good piece. They also have good option at tight end with his length and Jared Wiley. He's coming off a pretty good season as well. Was at Texas prior to that. And then they get the Oklahoma State transfer, J.P. Richardson, who should be pretty solid in the slot to go along with JoJo Earle. So offensively, they should be pretty good. And the defense, looking at last year, they were 95th nationally in total defense. They also lost some key pieces in the secondary. They have some young players that they're excited about. They have obviously to replace two excellent corners. And in that league, given that it's probably going to be a league that does feature the wide receiver spot and the passing game, they're going to need to make sure they continue to take a step. Here's my problem with TCU. I think everyone's got them circled this year. They caught people by surprise last year. They won't do so in 2023. They're going to get every team's best shot given the success they had last season. And I think some of those close games that bounced their way last year might overcorrect this year. I'm thinking 8-4 this year for the Horned Frogs, which would have them there in the low 20s at 24.